Hey there YouTube, it's Emma here. Thank you for joining my yoga class today. We're gonna grab a child's pose to begin. If child's pose does not feel good, please go ahead and lie flat on your belly in crocodile pose or find a comfortable seated position instead. Once you get to that starting position, just take a few moments to kind of settle in. Maybe that's a few deep breaths. And clearing out anything taking up space in your mind. And let the thoughts unravel, loosen your grip, and feel the body start to soften. And just notice what a few deep breaths can do for your physical and mental state. And how that intentional breathing for the next, 45 or so minutes can totally flip your day around. So whatever you're showing up with does not matter. However you feel, your yoga practice will meet you as you are. So there's no need to change it. There's no need to fake it. Just let yourself kind of unravel, let things go with every breath. If you like to practice Ujjayi Pranayama, now would be a nice time to seal your lips, transfer the breath in and out through your nose. Prop up onto your finger pads. Wiggle your armpits around a little bit. Imagine breathing all the way down, sides of the body, hips. Let's walk the hands to the left first today. And then walk the hands over to the right. Almost feel a slight twist to the right, like you're dropping your left armpit, lifting the right shoulder a bit. Walk your hands back through center, slide all the way forward onto your belly. We're gonna go cactus arms, goalposts. Press down with the tops of your feet. On your inhale, lift your chest and your arms up off the ground. Personally, I like to make two fists. I can feel a little bit more action in the backside that way. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, push your pubic bone down, gaze near the front of your mat, take a deep breath in. Stack your palms, rest your forehead on your top hand. Breathe so deep you feel your low back rise and fall. Cactus, bend your arms again. Walk your knees together, feet together. Try to squeeze the heels even to touch. On your inhale, lift your chest, your arms, and your legs. Now try to keep the legs straight and squeezing the heels in so the inner blades of the feet are kissing. How much of your thighs can you peel up off the ground? You should feel this action in the low back. Give me a deep breath in. Exhale, stack your palms opposite. Rest your forehead on your top hand. Relax your jaw. Deep breath in and out. Last time. Feet together, knees together. Cactus, bend your arms. Lift your chest, arms, legs. I'm going to sweep the arms back. You can stay there reaching back or make a bind. If you've got a bind, think about working the knuckles away from your tailbone. Try to keep squeezing the legs together. Straighten the legs for 3, 2, 1. Hands in line with your ribs. Roll up, cobra pose. Let's look over that right shoulder and bend your left knee a little bit. You should feel a stretch left hip flexor. Straighten your left leg, look over your left shoulder, bend your right knee. Straighten your right leg, keep your knees as they are, and just push back towards child's pose. You don't need to take the knees wider here. Let's just take a nice deep breath in and out. Inhale up, tabletop. Bring the knees under the hips. As you breathe in, arch your back, look up, cow pose. As you breathe out, scoop your tailbone, push your palms through your mat, cat pose. Again, inhale. Exhale, round. Last two. Last one. Neutral spine, tabletop. Right leg extending back. Roll out your ankle, wiggle your toes. Stretch your left arm forward. Take a breath in. Exhale, crunch. Elbow, knee, round your back like cat. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Again, inhale. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, extend, tiger pose, bend your right knee, sweep your left hand back. Once you have the foot, however, kick over to the right. Try not to let the right knee bow out to the right, so the right knee almost hugs in. Plug the right shoulder back. Press down with the top of your left foot for 3. Steady your breath, 2. Keep your right knee bent, release your left hand to the ground. Drop your right knee behind your left knee. Kind of kick your feet towards the opposite sides of the mat and push your hips back like Gomukhasana. However, you're not going all the way back. Keep the hands down, lengthen your sides, breathe, 3. 2. And 1. Shift your shoulders over your wrists. Keep your legs crossed. Spike your toes to the mat. Keep your legs crossed. Lift your hips up. So you're in a cross-legged down dog. I'm kind of on the outer edges of my feet here, pushing in through those knife blade edges, getting a stretch through the outer legs, maybe the calves. Walk your hands back towards your feet. You'll walk your hands over to the right, pivot on your feet, so you're facing now the back of your mat in a forward fold. Separate the feet about the width of the mat if they're not already, and grab your elbows. Bend your knees a little bit, or a lot of bit, and find a gentle sway side to side. Active, intentional breathing. Switch out the arms. You push a little bit through the big toe mound of the foot so you feel the inner thighs fire up. Release your arms, lift up halfway. Fold. Step back with your right foot. Turn your left toes out and drop your back knee, crooked monkey. Left hand to the left thigh. Or you can reach the left arm back, but don't grab the foot just yet. If you're reaching back, just reach. So think about spreading the collarbones apart, opening your chest, maybe even rolling out that left wrist for 3, 2, 1. Left hand down, spin your right shin behind you. Take your right hand to the front of your mat. As you do that, straighten out your left leg into a modified side plank or gate pose variation. You're pushing your hips towards the left side of your mat, the long edge, and then lean back a little bit so it feels good, almost like a stargazer pose or a modified wild thing-ish. Look down at your right hand, put your left hand down, spin your right shin behind you and lift your left leg up. So you're in a 3-leg tabletop, left leg up. Roll out your left ankle. Then stretch your right arm forward. Take a breath in. Exhale, crunch, right elbow, left knee, round your back. Again, inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, reach. Bend your left knee, sweep back, optional grab of the inside foot. Hug the left knee in a little bit, but can you kick the left foot to the left? Left shoulder plug back, sternum forward, breathe. 3, 2, 1. Keep your left knee bent. Release your right hand to the ground. Drop your left knee behind your right knee. Kick your feet away from each other towards the long sides of your mat, and then sink your hips back like Gomukhasana. You could even prop up onto the finger pads if that feels good. Lengthen your waist. One more breath. Shift your shoulders over your wrists and spike your toes to the mat. Keep your legs crossed as you lift your hips up into a cross-legged down dog, firming down the outer edges of the feet. Walk your hands back towards your feet, and then walk your hands over to the left. Pivot on your feet to face the back of your mat. You'll end up in a wide-ish forward fold. We're gonna take that directly into Yogi squat. Angle your toes out. Sit your booty down. Feel free to grab a block. And then feel free to move around a little bit here, shifting side to side, rolling out neck, wrists. And then notice if you're rounding your back here. Try to shine your heart forward, spread the collarbones, push the low back in, draw the waistline in so you feel a little engagement of your abdomen. The knees going outwards, light toes. Breath in. Breath out, forward fold with a bind. Turn the toes in, clasp your hands behind your back. Feel free to bend the knees. If you'd like, you could add a little twist, twisting right and left. You could shake your head out, yes and no. Find those spaces of resistance or stickiness. Move and breathe there. One more breath. Release your hands, lift up halfway. Take a long step back with your left foot, drop your left knee. Turn your right toes out, crooked monkey pose, right hand to the right thigh, or the right arm is just reaching back, not grabbing the foot. Open your chest. Option to even roll out that right wrist for 3. For 2. And 1. Right hand down, spin your left shin behind you. Swing your left hand to the front of your mat. Straighten out your right leg so you're in a modified side plank or gate pose variation. Push your hips forward. You can lean back a little bit, almost turn it into a back bend. Take a deep breath in. Look down, right hand down, step back, plank pose. Shift your shoulders past your wrists and drop your knees. Lower your chest and chin to the ground, push your elbows back. Inhale, cobra pose, spread your collarbones, roll the inner thighs down. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog, feet are hip width. Little bend in the knees is great. Reach, extend with your arms. Focus on lifting the hips, lengthening the sides, and straightening your spine. Head heavy, relax your neck. Lift your heels, tippy toes, walk all the way up to the front of your mat. Your feet can touch or hip width. On a breath in, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Come all the way up to stand, reach both arms up. Bring your hands to your heart and down by your side. Push into your feet, reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Feel free to bend your knees. Lift up halfway, inhale. Palms down, step back with your right foot, then with your left foot, lower with or without your knees, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you to open your chest. Roll over your toes, downward facing dog, tone your belly. Pull the bottom ribs in. Breathe with purpose. Lift your heels, look forward, right foot, left foot, step to the front. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Come all the way up, big reach. Hands heart, hand side. Again, reach up. Exhale, fold. Half lift. Left foot, then right foot, step back. Gaze forward as you lower to avoid rounding your neck. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale to down dog. Bump the heels out slightly, even just a centimeter or two, so the heels are hidden behind the ankles. If your heels do touch the ground, can you squeeze your legs so much that you lift your toes up? Look forward, step left foot, then right foot to the front, halfway lift, forward fold. Come all the way up, hands heart, hand side. Last time, reach up, lean back, forward fold. Ardha, halfway lift. Step back or jump back, lower on your exhale, chaturanga, dandasana, finish the exhale. Then cobra or up dog, finish the inhale. Roll over your toes, downward facing dog, moving with the breath, letting the breath set the pace. Lift your heels, look forward, step or jump to the front, halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, rise, grab your left wrist and lean over to your right. Option to step the left foot off the mat to the right. As you do that, you really want to use the right hip to push the left hip to the left. Squeeze your right oblique a bit. Come back through center, feet together. Grab your right wrist and lean to your left. Option to step the right foot off the mat to the left. I like a little bend in the front knee, bumping the hips to the right. Pull the belly button back. Feet together. Cactus, bend your arms. Hide your hands and your elbows out of your peripheral vision. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend your knees, sweep your arms back. Can you get your pinky fingers closer to one another? Pull the knees and shins back, then reach up, Utkatasana for 5. Turn your pinkies in slightly, 4. Sit a little lower, 3. Lighten your toes, 2. And 1, forward fold. Halfway lift, step back or jump back, lower on your exhale. Inhale, come up. Exhale, go back, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up behind you, bend your knees, stack your hips, circle it out any way you like. That could be the ankle, the hip, or bending and straightening at the knee joint. Square off your hips. Step your right foot to your right thumb softly. Spin your back foot flat, Virabhadrasana, 1, reach up. Feel your outer left hip roll forward, engage your left glute. Imagine pulling your right femur bone back. Look up, interlace your hands, release your index finger, and cross your thumbs. Squeeze your biceps to your temples or your ears, but soften the inner shoulders down your spine. Take a breath in. Get light in your toes, hinge forward, and draw a line to the arch of your left foot. You're gonna draw that line all the way back up. Turn the right toes in, left toes out. Find warrior 2 to the back of your mat. Take a moment if you need to shuffle around the feet. Your left heel should line up with your right arch. Don't let that right arm sag behind you. Keep your hands level. Gaze over your left fingers. Straighten your left leg, reverse triangle. Reach more up than back, like you're lifting your left ribs off of your hip. Side angle pose, bend your left knee, elbow thigh is great, or hand to the mat. I really like the extended Utthita version, extending the top arm. You can feel a lot more length through the right side. And when you're extending that arm, you want the palm down or the pinky down. That's gonna give you deeper stretch through the tricep, armpit, all the way down towards the knife blade edge of your right foot. Pull your belly button back, and then lead with that right arm, sweep it to the front, Skandasana, flying monkey pose. A good alternative to flying monkey, if that ever doesn't feel good, is side lunge, keeping both feet flat on the mat. Either way, you're getting a nice stretch, inner left thigh. Use your right hip to almost bump your left hip to the left. Remove the rounding from your back. Stay there or open up your arms for 3. Lighter right toes, 2. Squeeze your left quads, and 1. Pivot around to the front of your mat. Let's go left hand down, right arm reach up. Pump up your left leg, sink your right hip a little bit. Circle that right arm back, down. As it circles down, drop your back knee and reach both arms up to Anjaneyasana B, low lunge. You might like to interlace your hands here again. You could also grab the elbows, clasp your hands behind your head, find any other arm variation that feels good. Sink into your right heel, but get lighter in your toes. Engage your left glute, inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat. Push down, lift your right foot and step back, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Lift your left leg up. Bend your knee and stack your hips. Move it around any way, any fashion that feels good. Square off your hips. Step your left foot forward softly. Warrior 1, rise. Squaring the hips as much as possible to the front, pulling the rib cage together. Look up, interlace your hands, hug your biceps to your ears. Notice that the shoulders like to shrug up when you do that, so see if you can soften the shoulders down. Take a breath in. Exhale, hinge, draw a line to the arch of your right foot. Push into your feet, come all the way up and around to the back, warrior 2. Don't forget about that back arm. It's also easy to shift the weight forward to the right, but make sure the shoulders stay over the hips here. So you're equally reaching with that back arm. Flip your right palm, reverse triangle, like you're high-fiving someone behind you. Rebend your right knee, side angle pose. Again, I would highly encourage the Utthita extended version, extending your top arm with the palm down, especially for just the transition. It feels, I don't know, nicer, more natural when we start with this left arm extended, and then we're gonna sweep it across, Skandasana to the front. Flex your right toes. Remember, you can always grab side lunge instead. If this feels easy, you might be hypermobile or super flexible. I'd encourage you to lift your hips just a centimeter or 2. Find a little bit more action in the pose. Stay there or open up the arms for 3. Squeeze your right quadriceps, 2. And 1. Pivot to the front of your mat, runner's lunge. Right hand down, left arm reach up, twist. Make sure you're not just jumping into the right side. Push the back of the knee up. Circle that left arm back. As it circles down, drop your back knee and reach both arms up into a low lunge. Again, you could interlace the hands, grab the elbows, or clasp the hands behind the head. Press down with the top of your right foot. Take a breath in. Exhale, chaturanga. Push into the mat and step back lower. Inhale up. Exhale, down dog. Deep breath in. Exhale, sigh. Drop down to your knees. Knees under the hips, tops of the feet down, Ustrasana, camel pose. Hands to low back like you're scooping your tailbone down and forward. Lift your chest and lean back. Stay there or reach back for the heels. Spread the toenails and push them down. Spread your collarbones, drop your head back for 3. 2. 1 more breath. Bring it up. Hands to the mat. Neutral spine. And then round your back, cat pose. Shift your weight side to side. And then we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Step the feet wide, mat width. Keep your toes forward. Walk hands back a centimeter, a few inches, just a little bit. Thumbs will touch. Your left hand reaching for your outer right ankle. If you can't reach, walk your hands back more or step your feet out wider. You could also put a block underneath your right hand. Squeeze your legs and bump your hips slightly to the left for 3. Think about reaching, pushing with the right hand. 2. And 1. Left hand meets right hand. You might walk the hands a little bit forward. Step your right foot outside of your right hand and drop your back knee. Crooked monkey pose, round 2. Right hand can go to the thigh, or right hand reach back, left foot. Melt your hips forward. Try not to roll to the outer edge of the right foot. You're keeping your foot flat so you're not rolling the ankle. And then if you've got the back foot, you can either pull in for the quad stretch or kick back for the shoulder opener for 3. 2. 1, release your back foot. Wiggle your right foot in, toes forward. Find runner's lunge, lift your back knee. Feel free to start with a little bend in the back knee as you come up to a high lunge, crescent A. Feel the outer hips squeeze in. Gradually, you might work to straighten your left leg and squeeze your left glute. Cactus, bend your arms, open your chest. Hide your hands and elbows out of your peripheral vision, like you're pushing your chest forward and through. Shift your weight into your right leg, set up dancer pose, hug your left heel to your butt. Use your hamstring and then grab your foot. Start with the knees together and the hips square. As we go into dancer pose, your hips will want to open up to the left. Do your best here to keep your hips square. Begin to kick back and reach your right arm forward. Now a few things. The outer left hip has to roll down, almost like you're twisting a little bit to the right. Push your right thigh bone back to feel length through the right side. And then see if your right upper arm bone can kind of suck back into the shoulder socket for 3. Outer left hip down, 2. 1, feet together, Utkatasana. If that's too much with the feet together, separate your feet hip width. Find your breath. Hands to your heart, inhale. Exhale, prayer twist to your right. Hook your left elbow outside of your right thigh. Push your right palm down into your left palm. Alternatively, you could make a fist with your left hand, and the right hand could kind of cover the left hand as well. Pull the right hip back. Look down, hug your left heel up to your left glute. Keep your gaze down as you step your left foot back into a twisted lunge. Feel free to adjust. You can use the hands, you can drop the back knee. You could also add on by opening up the arms. Keep pushing your right knee out to the right. Stay strong through the ball of your back foot for 3. 2. 1, right hand down, drop your back knee, half splits pose. Flex your right toes. You might start by kind of windshield wipering the toes side to side, maybe rolling out the ankle. And then stay where you are or add a twist. Left hand down, right arm reach up. Feel the right femur bone pull back towards the hip socket. Don't let that right arm just flop back behind you. If you're reaching it up, you're reaching it up. Spread the shoulder blades. Gaze up at your right thumb for 3. 2. 1, right hand down, spin your left shin behind you, take your left hand to the back of your mat, modified side plank once again. Push your hips forward towards the long edge of your mat. From here, lift your right leg up with your foot flex. Think like a half moon leg. Extend your top arm, palm down. Take a breath in. Exhale, crunch, right elbow, right knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. 1 more, inhale. Exhale, crunch, hold, 3. 2. I want you to look down. As you put your right hand down, step your right foot outside of your right hand. Tuck your back toes, lizard pose at the back of your mat. Right foot forward. Both hands inside the right foot. If you prefer, you can drop down to the forearms. You can always drop the back knee as needed. I don't want you rounding into your back here. Almost think about pulling your chest through and your shoulders back. Hug the right knee in, so different from crooked monkey in that your toes are pointed forward. You're using your right inner thigh to squeeze in versus stretching it for 3. Really active pose, 2. And 1, pyramid pose. Wiggle your right foot in and shorten your stance. Angle your back toes out 45 degrees and fold over your right leg. I like to walk the hands forward, try to lengthen your side bodies, especially the right side, by pulling the right hip crease back. Your left hand can find a block, mat, or maybe the fingertips. Revolving triangle pose. Twist open to the right. If reaching the right arm up is too much, place your hand at your low back or your hip. Do your best to keep pulling the right hip crease back. Take the rounding out of your spine, crown of the head forward, tailbone back, tone your belly. And then again, the right arm's not flopping back, it's reaching up for 3, for 2, for 1, revolving half moon pose. Block is great, or fingertips. Lift your left leg up, the left hand goes forward. Keep the twist to the right. Push your right thigh bone back. Use your left glute to lift your left heel. Stay there or bend your left knee. Reach back, inside grip. You can try revolve full moon pose, kicking to the left. So same idea as tiger pose. You want the knee in, the foot kicking out, or put a little bend in your standing leg and come up to revolved dancer pose. Standing on the right leg, but it's the right hand reaching back for the foot. Wherever you are is great. There's no better or worse pose. Breathe for 3, 2, 1, hands down, crisscross your left foot behind your right foot and walk your hands over to the right. I like to bend especially the right knee here. One more breath. Walk your hands to center, step your left foot back. Left hand down, right arm reach up, twist. Either side plank on the left or wild thing on the left. Roll to the outside of your left foot. If you're going wild thing, see how slowly you can step that right foot behind you. Push your hips up, left leg straight. Push in behind your heart, breathe. 3, 2, 1, slow, flip it around, crunch your right knee to your left elbow and kick your foot out, fall in triangle pose. Make sure that left foot spins flat like warrior 2. And again, I like the extended version. Top arm extending with the palm down or the pinky down. You'll feel a bit more stretch through the left side for 3, for 2. 1, left hand down, slide your right knee behind your wrist, pigeon. Make your way down to your forearms or feel free to modify the pose in a seated figure 4 as well. Try to keep the left toes pointing straight back. You can stay where you are in pigeon pose, or you can come up, bend your left knee, and reach for your left foot. It's the same foot we've been doing dancer and revolved dancer on. Maybe your left foot finds the inside of your left elbow crease, so your left hand is free to wave to the left. If that's going well, the right arm can reach up, and you can reach for your left fingertips. Mermaid pose. Try to square your shoulders as much as you can towards the front. You're welcome to stay here, or the right hand can reach for the left big toe. Kind of unravel the left arm. So now the left hand grabs the outer edge of the left foot for king pigeon pose. Eka Pada Raja Kapotasana. Pulling your toes towards your head, lifting your chest. Hug the elbows in for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the back foot if you've got it. Roll onto your right hip and swing your left leg around. Put the bottom of your right foot at your inner left thigh, Janu, Shirshasana. Reach your arms up. Turn over your left leg and fold. So it's a slight twist to the left. Drop your outer right armpit and feel the outer right hip roll open. So the right hip opening, belly button pulling back. 3, 2, 1. Lift yourself up, put your right hand behind you, fingers point towards the front of the mat. Roll onto your right shin into a stargazer pose. Turn the left toes in, lean back a bit. And then I want you to look down, left hand goes down, step the right foot back. You might need to adjust your hands, but you should be facing the front of your mat, plank pose. Inhale, shift forward, exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, come up, exhale, go back, down dog. Facing the front of your mat. Feet wide, walk hands back a tad with the thumbs touching. Right hand for outer left ankle, grab and pull. When you do that, the hips swing to the left. Bump the hips to the right. Then can you shift some weight back into the heels like you're actually kind of pushing with the left hand and trying to push your weight backwards for 3, 2, and 1. Thumbs touch. Left foot outside left hand. Drop your back knee. Crooked monkey pose, round 2. Left hand to the thigh or reaching for your back foot. Plug your right shoulder back. Keep your left foot flat on the ground. The knee tracking in the direction of your second toe. You can either pull your right heel in for the quad stretch or kick back for the chest opener. 3, 2, 1. Release back foot. Wiggle your left foot in and tuck your back toes. Feel free to come up with a little bend in your back knee, high lunge, crescent A. Eventually you'll work to straighten the right leg, squeeze the right glutes. Stay strong through that front foot, front heel. Cactus, bend your arms, open your chest. Shift your weight to your left foot, hug your right heel to your butt, set up dancer pose. Grab the inside of your right foot, keep your knees together to start, hips square as you begin to kick back and reach your left arm forward. You want your outer right hip to roll down. I really like a bend in the standing leg. This actually helps to build stability around the knee joint as well. Helps you feel more stable, less wobbly for 3. Plug your left upper arm bone back. Roll your outer right hip down, 2, and 1. Feet together, Utkatasana, reach both arms up. You can always separate the feet if this is too much. Find your breath. Bring your hands to your heart, inhale. Exhale, prayer twist to your left. Hook your right elbow outside your knee. Notice the knees, keep them in one line. Sink your hips so they're in line or lower than your knees. I know it's hard. Look down, hug your right heel to your butt. Again, use your hamstring. Take a slow step back with your right foot. Feel free to adjust the feet, the hands, the twist. You can always drop the back knee as well. If your back knee is lifted, really fire up that right leg. Option to open up the arms. Don't let the left knee buckle in, however. Keep pushing left knee to the left. Make your right leg firmer, straighter than you thought possible for 3, 2, 1. Left hand down, drop your back knee, half split. Should feel pretty nice right about now. You can wiggle the toes around side to side. And then feel free to stay there or twisting. Right hand down, left arm reaching up. So not left arm flopping back. I know that feels kind of nice, but your left arm is reaching up like you're trying to touch the ceiling. Feel the left hip sink back and down for 3. Look up, left thumb, 2, 1. Left hand down, spin your right shin behind you. Take your right hand to the back of your mat, modified side plank. Push your hips towards the long edge of your mat and lift your left leg up with your foot flexed. So you're lifting up, use your outer hip, outer glute on that left leg. Inhale, extend your top arm. Exhale, crunch, left elbow, left knee, squeeze. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. 1 more, inhale. Crunch and hold, 3, 2. Look down. As you put your left hand down, the left foot steps outside the left hand. Tuck your back toes, you're in lizard pose. Feel free to keep the back knee down if you need. Avoid this rounding in the back, especially the neck. So you want to lift the back of the skull. Inner shoulders are pulling back and away from your ears. Feel a little pull the sternum forward, pump up your back leg, hug your left knee in for 3. Press down with the ball of your left foot, feel your inner thigh, 2. And 1, pyramid pose. Wiggle your front foot in, shorten your stance. Fold over your left leg. Roll the outer right hip forward and pull the left hip crease back. Draw the inner thighs towards each other, tone your belly, and try to lengthen the sides, your waistline. Push down with the ball of your left foot. 4. 3. 2. Revolving triangle. Right hand mat, block, maybe the fingertips. Try to keep the left hip crease pulling back as you send the left arm up. If that's too much, just reach your left arm directly out to the left or hand to the waist. Avoid rounding your back here. Think about pushing down into the right hand. So the tailbone goes back, crown of the head goes forward. Try to gaze up at your left thumb for 3. Full cycles of breath. 2. Last breath. Look down, bump your right hand forward, throw the right leg up behind you. Keep pushing your left thigh bone back, revolving half moon pose. Push down with the ball of your left foot. Stay here or bend your right knee, reach back, inside grip on the foot. If you've got that, kick a little to the right. Don't let the right knee bow out. This is revolving full moon pose. If you'd like to bring it up to revolved dancer pose, begin to reach your right arm forward and stand up. I like to keep a bend in the standing leg. Again, right knee hugging in, right foot kicking out. Plug your right upper arm bone back for 3. Last 2. 1 more breath. Slowly, both hands to the ground. Step your right foot behind your left foot, cross your ankles. You might like to walk the hands to the left a tad. Feel free to bend your knees, drop your head. Walk your hands back through center, step your right foot back, runner's lunge and twist. Right hand down, left arm going up. Feel really strong through your right shoulder and your back leg. You're either gonna step back to a side plank on the right or all the way over to wild thing. If you're going to wild thing, try not to flop your foot down, land it softly. Keep your right shoulder over your right wrist to protect the shoulder joint. Push in behind your heart. Last 2. Last 1. Slow, flip it around. Crunch left knee over to your right elbow and kick your left foot out, fall in triangle pose. Spin your back foot flat. Plug the left shoulder back. Extend your top arm with your palm facing down for 3. Firm up your back leg, right leg, 2. And 1, right hand down. Slide your left knee up behind your left wrist into pigeon pose. Feel free to drop down forearms, palms, block if you need. Avoid just rolling onto the left hip. Try to level out the weight in your hips. Notice if you're hunching your shoulders or your back, do your best to keep your spine straight. So feel free to drop down, forehead to the palms or forehead to a block. Three more breaths. Begin to bring yourself back up. Option to bend your right knee, reach back, pull your heel in for that quad stretch. If that's going well, go right toes towards the right elbow crease. So the right arm is free, the hand is free to wave. Left arm will reach up and back. Maybe you reach for your fingertips like a mermaid pose. If that's going well, the left hand can grab the right big toe, at least that's how I like to do it. Unravel your right arm and then grab the pinky toe side of the foot. This is about as much as I got on this side, but you're trying to pull your toes towards your head for 3. Leaning back, lifting your chin, 2. Hug the biceps in, 1. Release the back foot if you've got it. Roll onto your left hip and swing your right leg around, Janu Shirshasana. Think tree pose with the legs. Inhale, send the arms up. Exhale, fold over your right leg. Feel a little drop of your left armpit and then roll the left thigh back. So external rotation on that left hip. Pull your belly button back towards your tailbone. Breathe. Focus on the exhale. 3. Breathe into your low back, like around your kidneys. 2. Last breath. All right, sit yourself up. Your left hand goes behind you, fingers towards the front of the mat. Roll onto your left shin. Push your hips towards the right. And then look down, right hand down. Step your left foot back. Lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look forward, step or jump through to a seated position. Extend both legs out in front of you. Plant your hands, Dandasana, palms down, fingers forward. Feel your pelvic floor pull up and in, belly button back, little tuck of the chin. Your feet are flexed, the balls of the feet going forward. Imagine pushing your hands down so much that you're trying to float yourself up off the mat. Keep lifting your pelvic floor, back of the skull lift. Breathe up and down your spine for 3. So even though it doesn't look like a lot, you should feel a lot of action here in the arms, the core, and the legs. 2. And 1. Release. Let's go ahead and plant the hands behind us, fingers forward or fingers out for Purvottanasana, reverse plank. If this is going to be too much, bend your knees for reverse table instead. When you're ready, lift your hips up, think toes towards the ground, inner thighs spiral down. Puff up your chest, drop your head back for 3. Breathe for 2. Last breath. And release. Lower your hips down. Kind of grab your butt, wiggle it back. Paschimottanasana. Flex your feet, reach your arms up, and fold over your legs. Again, push the balls of the feet forward. The outer blades pull back. Always feel free to keep a bend in your knees. Try to avoid rounding your back here. Sternum forward, inner shoulders are pulling back and down the spine for 3. 2. Last one. Walk yourself all the way down onto your back. Take your legs up and overhead plow pose as a way to get to shoulder stand or waterfall pose, legs straight up. Hands go to the low back. Feel free to use a block as well if that feels better. If you're going shoulder stand, there's still some action in the legs, a little squeeze of the glutes, inner thighs, ankles hugging in. If you're in shoulder stand, take those legs overhead, halasana, plow pose. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Play around with what feels good for you. You can keep your hands at the low back, bind your hands, or grab the outer edges of the mat. I think that always feels really nice. Puts less strain on the elbow joints. Press down with the back of your skull. Lift your tailbone. Ear pressure pose, Karna Pidasana. Your knees hugging your ears or temples. Keep rolling your weight back. Lifting the tailbone. Breathe. 3. 2, 1. Slowly lower yourself down, Matsyasana, fish. Prop up onto your forearms, point your toes, lift your sternum, spread your collarbones, drop your head back and stretch your throat. Take a lion's breath here in, tongue out. Slowly begin to lower yourself down and draw your knees into your chest. Rock gently side to side. We'll keep the right knee in, extend your left leg long on the ground. Guide your right knee across your body over to the left. Stretch your right arm out to the right and gaze to the right. If you'd prefer, that left hand can grab the outer edge of the right foot for a little bit more stretch down the outer right leg. Last breath here. Guide your right knee back through center, hug both knees in, and then we'll switch. Keep the left leg in, extend your right leg long. Guide your left knee across your body to the right. You can stay there, or you can grab the outer edge of the foot and straighten the leg. Your foot is flexed if you're doing that. Try to stack the hips. Feel that left hip almost going forward, and the right hip is almost dragging back towards you. Gaze off to the left for 2. Last breath. Unwind onto your back, hug both knees in and squeeze. Rock gently side to side if that feels good. Happy baby pose. This will be our last pose together. Grab the outer edges of your feet, ankles, or the backs of your knees. Pull your tailbone to the ground. Pull the bottom ribs down so you feel the low back pushing down. Slight tuck of your chin, lengthen your neck. From here, feel free to straighten and bend the legs. Feel free to rock side to side. And feel free to take any final stretches that you would like to close out your practice. If and when you're ready, you'll extend your legs long, let the toes flop out. Make any adjustments you need, body, clothing, breath, to feel more comfortable. Release the control over the breath. So if you haven't already, let that Ujjayi breath go, just breathing naturally. Soften all the muscles in your fingers and your palms, your toes and your ankles. Try not to engage your abdomen, just let it be. Chest, heart, throat open. You can even relax your tongue. Behind your eyes, all those spaces you kind of forget about, just scanning the body, noticing where you might still be holding and letting those go. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh, Savasana. Slowly start to come back. Notice the points of contact you have with the ground underneath you. Maybe the sensation of your clothing, the temperature of the air, breath coming in, breath going out. And notice if your mind has already jumped off to a moment other than this one. If you can gently pull it back, do so now. Stretch your arms overhead, point your toes. Draw both knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze, like a little thank you for showing up, giving yourself some time, distraction-free, to just be present and breathe, be intentional. Roll to your right or left side, and then make your way up to a comfortable seat. Draw your hands to your heart center. And keep in mind that you can find these little pauses of intention and peace throughout the day. It does not need to be a full yoga practice. You can always just take a few deep breaths, come back to this sensation right here, presence, awareness, mindfulness. Take a deep breath in, exhale. Namaste. Thank you for choosing to practice with me. I so appreciate it. I know there are lots of options out there. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I will be going to Costa Rica. Actually, by the time this is released, I might already be there, leading an international retreat. I do this every single July, so if you are interested in coming along next year, you can visit my website, which is www.emmapigeonyoga.com for more information on that. I do also have a domestic retreat this November. It's going to be in Sedona, Arizona. People travel from all over the world, however, to go see Sedona. It is famous for its red rocks and spiritual vortexes. So it's going to be a weekend retreat, Friday to Monday in November. If you're interested in that, also visit my website for some more information. I would love to have any of you there. It's a women's only retreat, and it's going to be magical. I will see you back next week and expect a cool class from Costa Rica coming soon.